What's the news? Hey, is there something new? What's the news? Say what you want to say.
Good morning. Welcome to the new podcast. This is Coffee Talk about making bad news into conversations. I am joined by Max.
Hello there.
I am also joined by Matt.
Hello.
And I am your host, Karen. Max, why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, no, of course. My name is Max. I am a dual citizen, American, Canadian, born in the US, however, and raised there. Didn't know that I was Canadian until I was 15. That was an interesting time in my life, that's for sure. I am a gamer, family man, and I also play some music and watch some sports. Big Seattle fan. It's an unfortunate day for Seattle fans. But yeah, one of my first video games, just to throw out an interesting fact, was Star Wars Battlefront for the PlayStation and/or original Xbox.
Definitely a fantastic game.
Great game.
Yeah.
And
all right, Matt, what about you? Yeah.
Well, hi, I'm Matthew. I come from the center of the United States of America, and I was born here and I've lived here all my life, and it's kind of sad if you really think about it. But it's okay. I'm happy. You know, I get out. I do things. I'm a truck driver full time. It's a full time thing, but I'm home almost every night. So I've got a lot of time to think about things, to listen to podcasts. Podcast enthusiast. I'm a writer. I'm an artist, kind of, not really. Play a lot of music. Moderate sports fan, big fan of the Cardinals for baseball. And my first game that I ever played was a little game called Kirby Superstar for the Super Nintendo. We had a Super Nintendo and didn't have Super Mario World. We just had Kirby Superstar. So I played the hell out of that game when I was a kid. And then I got a PlayStation and had, other. Yeah. Yep. All right, Taryn.
I'm a country boy. Grew up in Iowa. Me and Matt, we went to the same school together. And I'm a streamer now. I'm also a gamer, went to college, got a degree, didn't actually even use my degree. So that might come up relevant later on in future episodes, but kind of the bad news idea of the podcast. And
the underwater basket weaving episode isn't till later, though. Don't worry about it.
And so my hobbies include gaming, obviously, music. I do play guitar. I play a little bit of piano, all different kinds of stuff. And my very first game I can remember playing is a small game called 3 Extreme. It was on the PlayStation 1.
Sorry, it's a what?
It's called 3 Extreme, and it's a sports game.
3 Extremes.
That is a deep ass cut for a first game. Oh my god.
It's a janky one. Yeah,
it says 3 Extreme is a combat racing video game. Oh,
yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because you can punch and kick other other racers.
I believe there's skateboards, rollerblades, and was it bicycles?
Looks like bicycles is what I'm seeing. Yeah.
So it was definitely a fun time to be a gamer back then. But that's a little bit about me.
All right.
We're making this
awesome
podcast.
This explains so much.
It really does, actually.
Well, that was definitely my first game. That's why I had to do a little bit of research, because it's been a long time since I played that. And then shortly after that, I got the GameCube.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so I think we got a few segments to talk about today. I know that Sliver is going to start off here. Taryn, excuse me. I'm so used to calling you Slivs.
It's okay.
He's going to be speaking about Microsoft and various discussion points into Microsoft and what they've dabbled into over the years, corporate greed, essentially. And then at the same time, we have Matt over here who's going to talk about Silent Hill F, a nice review of that, and it may or may not tie into the 2 points might tie into one larger, but we'll see. We'll find out.
And
yeah, we connect it all somehow, maybe.
Also,
Connecting dots.
I do have a little bit of a small game I was playing because you guys were criticizing about 3 Extreme. I did play Exanima.
I mean, we weren't criticizing. It was more just, we connected.
No, it
even
wasn't a
more
criticism.
dots.
It was just
Yeah.
Sure.
it was
A realization.
eye-opening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, did you know there's a 2 Extreme?
Did you know there's a 1 Extreme?
I never
my
played the
God.
others. I just played 3 Extreme.
Yeah.
2 Extreme
All
has
right,
a
so
2.2 on IGN. All right.
Hey,
Why don't you
I didn't
take us
say it
in?
was a good game. I just said it was my first game.
Next stream.
I mean-
2 Extreme.
Fair enough.
Yep.
There is no extreme in this case.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't you take us into your segment, and let's all enjoy a sip of coffee.
So like I said, I'm going to be talking about Microsoft here, where we're going to go into the early 1990s, where everything was golden. This was a time before high-speed internet really wasn't a thing yet. AOL and floppy disks and Tamagotchis. It's the 90s. These were the things that we saw in the outside world that we thought were pretty cool. Technology is really paving the way. The world wasn't as bleak as we became to realize it when we were adults, especially when we had a changing point with 9/11. And then there was a little company called Microsoft. Windows was in basically every computer when we were kids. So in the 2000s, though, was a little bit precarious because there was a little thing called the dot-com bubble. And if you were unfamiliar with this, it means a lot of value was put into tech companies because that's the way people thought the world was going to be going. And tech corporations overpromised and underdelivered. And it was a gigantic economic collapse. And a lot of people were laid off, a lot of turmoil in that era. There is a thing that corporations are supposed to abide by. It's GAAP, generally accepted accounting or principles. Now, a lot of reforms started changing after the dot-com bubble. And then fast forwarding a little bit, we get into the 2008 housing crash. Now, this one is bigger in my mind. I was 13. I can kind of feel the economic impact. I'm sure you guys could as well when people's savings
yeah.
were being drained because of the housing bubble. It was bad. Definitely a bad time. And
Yeah. That might be an understatement, but yeah.
It was a recession.
Part of the reason why I moved into Canada.
Yeah, it was a big deal at the time.
It was bad.
Yeah,
that was the first time I truly experienced like any dread about the future. Was that?
Mhm.
Yeah. Obviously, 2009, there's layoffs. This is Microsoft alone. They laid off 5,000 people in the next 18 months and 5% of the workplace, 1,400 at the briefing. So fast forwarding to 2013, this is going to be kind of a theme where Microsoft usually lays off some people and then they make a huge acquisition or vice versa. Microsoft will pay 3.79 billion euros to acquire Nokia. This is when Microsoft was trying to get into the phone business. Now, in my opinion, it was too little too late because iPhones were substantially popular. And
also Androids were pretty sick at the time.
Yeah, I believe everybody in my high school had an iPod or some iPhone. It was the iPhone 3 or whatever back then.
It would have been like the 4 or 5 and 13, I think.
But I remember having my little Walkman as a kid though for music though, before the iPhone and the iPod. But Microsoft's trying to get into the phone business. They bought Nokia. And then in 2014, they made a massive acquisition with Mojang Studios, which, if you're unfamiliar, is Minecraft. It's a small little game that blew up in popularity. It was acquired for $2.5 billion, which is absolutely insane. So going from 12 to 2014, they laid off 5,000 people and they've spent billions of dollars. In 2015, Microsoft cuts off another 7,800 positions. In its phone business, this is more with the Nokia department side. They had a decrease in value, so referring back to the GAAP process or generally accepted accounting principles, they had to do an impairment charge. And it's basically an on-the-book record of a devaluation. And then this is why Zune failed, like, obviously. They were late to the markets, and due to rising popularity of iPhones and iPods, not to mention the fragmented ecosystem, led to the downfall of Microsoft Phone division. 2016, more layoffs happened with the phones. 2,850 people. The Lumina 650 was launched, and it was one of the last major Windows phones. Later in December, Microsoft buys LinkedIn for $26.2 billion. It shows even more to they're laying off people and still buying billions of a company.
They still got cash to spare.
Yeah, we all know this. We're all gamers. Game Pass 2017. This was when it was good to be a gamer, or so.
Yeah,
they say.
the best deal in video games.
Yes, 2017. Phil Spencer was ahead of Xbox, I think, in 2016. He puts together a plan, tried to make it profitable. And so he has a brilliant idea of making a subscription service, just like Netflix, but for video games. Game Pass launching in February on Insiders, ultimate price $9.99 with 110 games on its service. Microsoft officially stops making phones also in 2017. The Windows phone that I got the achievements for Halo Spartan Strike and Spartan Assault. I did buy one for $75. It was off the secondhand, but I did. I had to play with my phone in a refrigerator to keep that thing working. Not kidding.
Wow, it just overheated so much.
Oh yeah. Going forward, they bought not one, not two, not three, 6 new acquisitions for video games: Ninja Theory, Undead Labs, Compulsions, Playgrounds, In Exile Entertainment, and Obsidian. This was the controversial but yet popular acquisitions made by Microsoft trying to push Game Pass even further. Yeah, that was in 2018. Now I only have the stats for Ninja Theory, which was 117 million. I'm guessing those were the other ones were behind closed doors. We don't really necessarily know. In 2019, Xbox tries to bundle the Game Pass and Xbox Live Gold and PC Game Pass.
This is one of the first times that, like, when this happened, I knew that something bad was going to happen for Game Pass or Xbox as a whole. It was telling.
Yeah. The bundling of Game Pass and Xbox Live and PC is kind of crazy. I never liked the idea of Xbox Live Gold to begin with because PC players could always play for free. If you have Left 4 Dead on Xbox and if you have Left 4 Dead on PC, you have to pay $10 per month on Xbox to play. Or at least it was.
I go both ways on that because on the PC, it is free, but there's also like hackers and all of that stuff all the time. Like on every game you play, there's always like some messed up thing going on. And if you remember back in the day, PlayStation Network was always down. PlayStation Network was free. Yeah. That was down for like months at one time. Like you couldn't play
during the Christmas holiday season of, I think it was 2012, 2013.
Yeah. That's something I didn't mention. Yeah, it was down for like 2 months. Yeah, it was bad.
So it makes sense, but it is a thing where like maybe we don't need to have every, and they did eventually kind of change their tune on free to play games, but
yeah. Going backward in time, since you mentioned the PlayStation, I remember when Xbox One launched and where basic functions of like a party chat would not work. And I'm like, you have a 360 that works perfectly fine, and you go to this. Absolutely infuriating when they couldn't get party chat to work.
Yep.
But during 2019, they acquired Double Fine Productions as well. So they were trying to get more money with the bundling. And also you should note that Game Pass's price is at $15.99 and 191 games run the service. 2020, yet another acquisition. Microsoft buys ZeniMax Media for $8.1 billion. It's just foreshadowing. Do you guys know what's coming up next? If usually when there's an acquisition, what kind of follows?
What was it? More people get
Price
jobs.
Price
Oh,
hikes. Because,
dang!
yeah, they got to get money somehow. You're close. But they tried to make the 6-month subscription a $60 fee, which is doubling the cost, and then people were not happy with that in 2021. They even backtracked and reverse course and issued out a public apology. Now, this is their one of many attempts, obviously, to raise. They've already raised the Game Pass, but this was the Xbox Live price. So, 2022, this is the big controversial acquisition. The theme here is Microsoft spending yet billions more for an acquisition. It's $75.4 billion for Activision and Blizzard.
It took longer than a year to push through, I think, didn't it?
Yeah. And
There were
you were correct.
full lawsuits too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, where after an acquisition, then it's 10,000 layoffs. So you're
No,
still
I
right.
said people got more jobs. That's what I said.
So I'm sorry.
People kept their job. Oh, you're
Yeah,
telling me people lost their jobs over this? Oh
Yes.
no.
And then they did a broad restructuring of economic concerns. Basically, to boil that down, it's we're not making enough money. We have to fire these people. CEOs from the top were like, I want more money. So that's kind of what that is. August Game Pass price Ultimate increases to $16.99 with 429 games on the service. A wild endpoint in 2023 from starting off at $10 to $17. So they're slowly but surely increasing the price there. 2024, more layoffs. It's kind of a theme here. They closed several studios that they just acquired, like not even a decade ago. The Hi-Fi Rush, the Redfall. This is like big news at the time. It's, if you're unfamiliar, Redfall was it was the vampire game that they were working on. Hi-Fi Rush was another popular one. Tango
made by
Gameworks.
Tango.
Yep. The Evil Within, and then was saved by Krafton.
Krafton bought or acquired Tango so they could make another Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
They're in the works of this sequel for that.
In July, Game Pass price increases to $20 with 429 games. It's been double the price since launch. Yeah, so where we're at today, Microsoft institutes a zero severance layoffs and aggression performance crackdowns for employees. If you're fired, you don't get your severance pay. May 1 console price hike. This was the first price hike of 2 this year. And then June and July layoffs continue at 9,000 people being laid off. And there is a second price hike for October with Game Pass, where the price is increased to $29.99 for 838 games, a 50% increase. So we went from $10 to $30. It's kind of wild. I do have a breakdown.
It is crazy.
Of the console prices. That was the Xbox Series X and the S. The S 512 gigabyte was $299, and now it was $379. And then that was one price hike, and then starting in October, the prices went up again, $379 to basically $400, just for the Xbox Series S 512 gigabyte. Then there's also let's do the higher end console. The Xbox Series X, the 2 terabyte Galaxy one, was $600. It was $730, and then from May $730 to now it's $800. So you can definitely see a $200 price increase there. Kind of.
Which, if you think about it, like, I'm fairly certain that executives and CEOs and whatnot of Microsoft said, we need to raise the price. And their initial thought was the second price hike, right?
Yeah.
But they
wanted
can't
bridge.
throw that much of an increase immediately, so they probably exactly. At least that's my healthy observation.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
the kind of person, I bought the Xbox Series X on launch because I was excited for Halo Infinite, and now my console is worth more than it was before I bought it, which is kind of
Yes.
crazy, by $150. Well, technically not because it's used, but it's if I not opened it, which is kind of wild.
Right.
But
Especially because it would have been a first edition.
yeah.
Mhm.
Other rumors, this is Black Ops 6. This was in 2024. They lost $300 million being on Game Pass. Microsoft is liquidating its stock, and the hardware production has ceased at Costco and Sam's Club. Now,
On the Black Ops 6 thing,
sure.
the report that it lost $300 million of being sold, but isn't that the point of putting it on Game Pass? Like, I feel like they understood that, and them just saying that is like to be like, oh,
Well, I
this is
don't
why
think it was
we're
Microsoft itself that said it. I think it was those who worked with Activision or Microsoft in the past who actually said it. Because I don't think these are official numbers from Microsoft.
Okay,
Correct
they're
me if
not
I'm wrong
official.
there.
I don't
Okay,
think so.
okay.
But this is
Okay.
just inside news.
Right.
This is not published by Microsoft. No. This is kind of what
Okay.
is speculated to what is
This
lost.
is the reports.
Some people were going into the service plan and asking, how is it profitable? It's profitable if you have one major title and a bunch of indie games, because the indie games will get paid for themselves by that one. Like, you're just spreading the cost out. And then if you're wanting to play like 10 indie games, well, instead of buying the $5 games, you get to play it as $10 a month, which will add up over time. And so they pay for themselves. Where it does not become profitable is where you have more than one like massive AAA game. Like on Game Pass, you have Indiana Jones, you have Black Ops 6, you have Halo, you have Master Chief Collection, you have like all of these juggernauts of a game that cost millions of dollars to produce. It's for $10 a month, it's not feasible to have that. There's going to be a loss there, which
So I guess according to those stats, GTA 6 will never be on Game Pass.
it's highly unlikely. I don't think GTA has ever been on Game Pass, in my knowledge. Has it?
I think they recently added GTA 5 to Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah,
Okay.
very recently.
Okay.
Very.
Yeah.
So I was
That's
wrong there. Yeah.
the only time though.
Usually we don't immediately partner with Game Pass because it's usually losing money.
Yeah.
And also GTA, they know their wanted IP. They know millions of people are going to buy it. Like, they don't have to put it on Game Pass. Games like,
In fairness, Rockstar typically produces good games. Yes,
True.
they may
Yeah.
like multiplayer may not be ready on release, but
yes,
campaign wise, I
Here-
think the
They are the
past
people
5 or 6 games
That made
have been-
Rockstar table tennis. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
here is an example of a game that benefited from Game Pass. A small game that is hugely popular and was pushed because it was on Game Pass was Human Fall Flat. That is a perfect story of what a game could be on a subscription service.
Also, Expedition 33 reportedly said that Game Pass was great for it.
That too. And I don't think those two games would have gotten the attention had it not been on Game Pass, which is a good thing because then more people were playing the games, more people were enjoying the stories of it. And as a gamer, it's just better to have more games than none. This is why we don't like the layoffs, like when it comes to the studios closing. This is why, like, even just layoffs in general suck. I would rather have more games rather than none. And it's disheartening when Microsoft lays off more people because of they're trying to save costs, but then they turn around and put $5 billion into OpenAI, which we're gonna get into OpenAI here shortly. As far as the rumors and the like layoffs go, this is kind of where we're at today. Now, OpenAI. Do you guys know what TSMC is?
Do not.
Not the acronym, no.
They are a silicone manufacturing facility. They make chips, and they supply it to major corporations: Intel, Nvidia, and AMD. Now, you guys know those brands, I'm pretty sure of, because we're all gamer guys.
Oh yes.
So they supply them with the chips, and I believe TSMC is based out of Taiwan. Anyways, so Nvidia pays OpenAI billions, and also Intel. I'm not quite sure why they're paying Intel, but I think it's just probably an investment at this point, because they want a competitor. If your competitors are failing a little bit, usually you actually put some money into them. I think one story was Microsoft funded a little bit of Apple, if that's correct, and
Yeah,
then
they took him back from the brink
yeah,
in the 80s or 90s, I think.
yeah. So that's kind of Intel was on the back foot just for a little bit, so they're giving billions to Intel. So that way they're still a competitor. While OpenAI is making promises and they're cutting deals to AMD and Oracle. Oracle, if you don't know, is they make massive servers and data centers. I think Max knows more about that than I do.
Yep, they're typically an interface between two softwares just to transmit data from one software to the next,
Mhm.
because sometimes that data is not very well integrated.
Yep.
Nice.
OpenAI needs a lot of computer power. So they're paying billions of dollars to these corporations while losing billions. They don't necessarily have the funds because they're projected to lose $10 billion just this year alone. And they're making these promises that AI will return on investment. It's crazy, like the amount of return that they're going to get. Also, OpenAI owns 10% of AMD stock, which is kind of a footnote there. But the reason why that's important is because OpenAI doesn't necessarily have the money to buy the chips or the computing power from AMD. They do have 10% stock. And what they'll do is they'll announce, like, hey, we're doing this $75 billion deal, and the stock market will go up $75 billion worth. And then they just cash in on their own stock. Rather than actually moving cash from one over to the next, they're just playing the increased bet of a stock market, because just the announcement alone, that's, to me, that's wild, where it goes into just how much money that they're throwing at that OpenAI, that just
It's
an
like a
announcement.
it's like a Ponzi scheme that they're trying to like make a real business out of.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh yeah, this gets way worse, and we're gonna circle back to Microsoft here in a second. But Oracle's also paying Nvidia because they need chips to make the data centers, because OpenAI needs the data centers. Microsoft comes into the picture because they want a little bit of money in this pie here. They have an exclusive partnership with OpenAI, so they're paying billions of dollars to OpenAI, which is keeping OpenAI afloat. In turn, they have exclusive partnership to fund Microsoft Azure, which is their branded AI. They're using OpenAI to help build Azure. So that's kind
Yeah.
of the triangle of money here.
I saw some research the other day that said it has all the readings of a bubble. In that
Oh
it's,
yeah, like the dot-com bubbles or the recession or even just the housing crash. Yeah, this is definitely the hallmarks of a bubble, but people will argue, well, the value is there because OpenAI produced the value.
yeah,
But
they think if it does shake out, but it's not.
but
yet.
this is like going back to the 2000s where they could overpromise and underdeliver, and then it's just going to be disastrous if it doesn't work. So hundreds of billions of dollars, or if not trillions of dollars, floating around in this little triangle because it's a massive tech corporation. And so I put this in here because I think it's kind of mirrors the 2000s as well, like overpromising, underdelivering. This is an update as I was doing my slide about Game Pass. At the time, these increases will only affect new purchases. This is according to Microsoft, and will not affect your current subscription for the market in which you reside, as long as you are an auto recurring plan. Should you choose to cancel your plan and repurchase, you will be charged at the new current rate. If for any reason there may be changes to your existing account, we notify you at least 60 days in advance, and you'll have the option to cancel or change your subscription plan at that time. Which I saw a Redditor say that they just said fuck you to anybody who canceled, which is true. I am one of those people that canceled Game Pass because it is getting wildly expensive, in my opinion.
There is a part to this that
Should be noted.
should be noted, is that this is only effective in the UK
Yes.
and other parts that actually have proper consumer
Protection.
protection laws, whereas the U.S., Canada, North America essentially does not have that.
Yeah, this is more globally than us U.S. people.
Correct.
Well, I feel like this is the wrong course, because if our one power that we have is we basically vote with our dollar, if that makes sense. We decide what we buy, we decide what we use in our daily lives, and if we're making a stand saying we're not going to purchase Game Pass anymore, and then for Microsoft to punish us, it does not make sense, to me at least.
Yep.
Especially if at the
I
same
know,
time,
I love it.
at the same time, there was rumors where, now I believe the rumors have been dispelled, that they were pulling out of the hardware division. That's been dispelled because they're actually launching the handheld Ally 2. Well, if they're pissing off people on the subscription side, if they're losing money in the AI side, and if their sales are so low on the hardware side, this is not good for Microsoft by any means. Like, I'm not a CEO of Microsoft by any or anything. I don't have any inside knowledge, but I can just tell you that's not a good formula to have like as a
Yep.
business person. That's not the way you run a business. You don't want to piss off your consumer base. And I feel like they're
At least
investing
not a lot.
yeah. At least I think they're investing heavily into AI, and I don't think it will give the returns that they're hoping. At least it has yet to be proven. That's kind of the end of the slide there, and the end of the presentation for the whole Microsoft spiel of the from the early 2000s to where we are today, which is like 25 years. So, do you guys have any comments about this, or questions, comments, concerns?
I don't know. You know, it's all bad, I think. I mean, not all of it. I don't know. I feel like the current subscription price raise is definitely a telltale sign that things are not healthy in their you know, if they were healthy, they would be,
Yeah.
you know, it would be fine.
It's odd to me that like mere days before there was the spokesperson that came out saying Xbox Game Pass has never been more profitable. They like said something along those lines, and then it was a price increase like 2 days later. Like, what?
Yeah. Right. And I feel like it could be profitable. It is, you know, it was for a long time, and still kind of is a very good deal, but it just makes less sense when it's $30 every month. And
yeah.
you know, good games today, like Hollow Knight Silksong just came out, and it's only $20.
Yeah, which is,
you know what I mean?
To me, it's baffling where you could rent a game for 30 or buy it for 20. It's like, what?
And you know, when you do rent it, you do get like 800 other games or whatever, but still,
that is a fair point. But I would like to own the game, or I know I'm using the word own loosely because we do live in a digital world, and the licensing of that is like subject to change. I understand all that. But back when we were growing up, we had the physical copy of the games where we could put them in and they would play. And that was a censorship ownership. Even if the online services disconnected, we could still play them offline. And this is kind of the whole argument of, do you actually own your game, digitally speaking? That's technically no. And it's been transitioning that way for a long time. But
now, what have you guys heard the rumors of what Xbox's next console is going to be? Likely it'll be like mostly a PC with Game Pass on it, like it'll play a Steam library.
yeah,
You
like a
heard of that?
hybrid. Yeah.
Yes, and then there's also rumors that they're completely stopping any additional console production just because it has not been profitable, and Sony has been, basically taking that battle for quite some time.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of unofficial, but yeah, like what you said right there, where it's like virtually a PC that has Steam on it already integrated. That's, I think, the most lasting rumor. I've been keeping an eye on this just because I'm a big Xbox guy.
Yeah.
See, for me, now, I know you guys are different. Put it this way. I didn't grow up playing PC games religiously. I grew up playing Xbox. I played Halo. I played Call of Duty.
Me too.
And Xbox was kind of my console for a long time. I try to get more achievements in games. I got every Halo achievement. There's like things like that where it just gave me kind of a drive because I felt like I resonated with Halo, and that was an Xbox IP. I understand that, but also I didn't play the Halo online for PC. I wasn't really a PC gamer, and I haven't been for a long time until recently. To me, it was odd where I had to shell out thousands of dollars to play a same game. And the barrier to entry is much higher in the PC world, but once you cross that barrier of entry, it's so much nicer
Yeah.
because the
It really is,
flexibility
yeah.
of owning the games. The like you can modify the files if you need. You can mod the games. There's so much more flexibility, and you could be doing so much more as well as just gaming. Like you could be recording, editing, streaming, more than just a normal console could. And as of like the last few years, I've transitioned into PC gaming, and I feel like this has been kind of Microsoft's unspoken goal, is where they're trying to get more people onto the PC because people on PC are using Windows. I mean, in a
Yeah.
way, it's selling more services that way, but
Right.
it's still not a profitable way of, I think, running a business when you're pissing off your consumer base. Granted,
Yeah.
there's not really a lot of competitive choices besides like what Linux, but aside from that, the PC side is way more flexible when you have games on that. You could argue where you get your games, and like if you want to give money to Microsoft and Game Pass or Steam or Epic or whatever engine or launcher you use. At the end of the day, where we're standing today, I don't think it's good for Microsoft to make everybody mad, to lay off people, to increase the prices, because they'll just go somewhere else. I mean, that's not like a surprise to anybody, I don't think.
Yeah.
Right.
And you already know that Sony has been doing outperforms on the hardware side. I was going to bring it to Nintendo. Well, Nintendo, they kind of have a solid player base. Anytime there's a new Nintendo console releases, they sell fast as fuck. I think just this week the Nintendo Switch 2, you can get one. It
Yeah,
was
they're
in
everywhere
stock.
now.
Yeah, it was in stock, and my mom actually texted me this week. Does that mean I can get one? I'm like, well, yeah, if you want.
Just for an example of the player base of Nintendo, the Nintendo Switch, according to this 3 months ago headline on the Reddit, the Switch has sold 153 million units, and their top selling game is Mario Kart 8, which has sold 76 million units, which is, what is that, almost half?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 50% player base.
Yeah.
Buy-in of a game, which is insane.
Yeah. If I was going to make an equivalent line from Nintendo like that statistic to Microsoft, the last time we had a 50% buy-in of a console for a game was what, Halo 3, probably?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably, maybe not even that. Hold on.
Is probably close to being that, around that. But for sure, Halo 1 on Xbox Original. For sure.
Yep.
According to this, it sold 14.5 million. Halo 3 did.
Okay.
Halo Combat Evolved sold 5 million
Mhm.
on the Xbox and over 6 million across all platforms, so because it was on PC. 84 million consoles sold on the 360.
Oh,
That's
so
over
not even
50%.
not yeah.
Not even, it's like,
That's like a
yeah,
fifth.
10%.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Oh, was it? Because I thought you said how many million for Halo 3?
I thought it was like
14.
Yeah.
It was a 15,
14
16,
million out of
17%.
80 million, so that's not even close.
But I feel like we have to get the time.
That's true. I was trying to do a
Yeah.
year span, but I mean that is true too.
That was it was lifetime is what I.
Oh, lifetime.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like the numbers were probably higher at the launch of Halo 3 for the 360.
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly sold consoles, but
yeah.
it's not Nintendo level. That's what I'm saying. Like
That's true too.
Nintendo is just different. PlayStation, I don't think has anything similar to that. I would guess.
I don't want to make this.
Well, Nintendo's IPs are pretty massive.
Nobody's like boycotting Mario anytime soon. I don't think, anyways.
No.
Regardless of what you guys might think of the Mario movie, but I didn't mind the.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
that was fine. It was
that's
good.
a separate
Good
review though. Like, not to make this Halo themed, but that is kind of Microsoft's flagship title, or at least was that in Gears, basically. The last time I felt sense of it's fun to be a actual gamer with a community was probably when Halo 3 launched, because everybody knew someone was getting Halo 3 across the world. Like it's like you could go to get your haircut at a barber. And they're like, "Are you gonna get that Halo game?" It was so massively popular. It seemed that way.
Yeah, Halo was big. Skyrim was massive.
Yeah,
I remember like everybody at school talking about that.
yeah. And then COD 4 was just a different time back then, 2007, 2008, roughly. The landscape definitely changed for gamers. Being more of a subscription base, being more like you can't really own your games physically, you have a digital license to it. And then on top of that, the barrier of entry has gotten lower to a lot of extent for PC, which is good, but still, I don't think low enough to run these games, especially a nice, smooth, buttery 60 frames. You can run them at a 1080p, but nobody wants to play that really. At least I don't think a lot of people would be opting to play at 1080p, even though it looks perfectly fine to me. I grew up on a TV with it was like 420,
way less.
yeah. Like, we come a long ways with technology and graphics for games, but I still don't think that justifies the $30 game. Matt, you did say you had a Silent Hill F review.
Okay, let's hop into the Silent Hill F review.
Mm-hmm.
Silent Hill F. This is, I guess, what it would be like to be a tortured Japanese schoolgirl who, has some bad things happen to her, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great game. That's not fun. I say fun. It's fun in that it's scary. It's fun in that it's I don't know. The story's really thick. It's got a thick story. Okay.
Okay.
You play through the game the first time. Lots of twists and turns. Combat's not the best, but all in all, I think it's a satisfying experience. The puzzles can be difficult at times, but they're always satisfying. They leave you with this feeling of accomplishment, like you've just done something. You kind of feel smart sometimes when you finish them. But, I don't know. Some of them are also a little bit vague, maybe too vague. The game runs great. It looks great. It's on Unreal Engine 5. It actually performs well, I think, for an Unreal game. Let's see.
I know you didn't like the combat system. Like, you compared it to eating glass.
I've come around on the combat. It is, I don't know. I've come full circle. Just, I don't know why. I don't know why I have, because it is really bad. I guess I've taken more to running away from the monsters, and for a little bit, you couldn't. I wasn't able to do that. It wasn't good enough. You just have to get good. But it is hard. They throw you into some situations where you get stuck, where you get trapped by 3 or 4 monsters and you can't get out.
So how many playthroughs have you done?
I am not finished with my second playthrough. I've done 1 playthrough. I'm currently playing through the game on the hardest difficulty, and it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of twists and turns that appear on a New Game Plus playthrough that aren't in the first playthrough. The game starts out with like new story beats. In the second playthrough, there's like a whole other side mission that you're kind of doing while you're playing the game. And already more about like what Hinako's story is.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives context. It's like watching a confusing movie for the second time and being like, oh, that's why that guy was there. It's the same stuff. All in all, I think I would give this game a 9 out of 10, mostly for the story.
do you think it's
Mostly
game
for
of
the
year?
story. No, it's not going to be game of the year because, for one, not enough people play horror games and like really enjoy them. I
I don't
feel
know. Silent Hill PT was pretty popular.
PT was very popular, but it also was like I don't know, like an hour and a half demo,
True.
and it didn't come to fruition. But people love that.
Mhm.
But there's also people who just don't. I don't know. Horror's like that. It's very subjective, and I think this game is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Hmm.
You know what? I don't want to say very good because that's not good enough. It's great. It's an amazing game. Everybody should play this game at least once.
Yeah.
But it's surprising how well it runs for as good as it looks.
Without
It-
any spoilers, I've played Silent Hill 1 and 2.
Mhm.
I haven't played 2, but how much parallels is there between like Silent Hill F to Silent Hill?
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up. So there is a connection between this and Silent Hill 1. I won't really bring it up, and I don't want to say it's like vague. It's not super vague, but you kind of have to know your Silent Hill lore a little bit already to even
Okay.
like pick it up. But once you do, you're like, oh damn.
Mhm.
And it's extra cool. There's a scene in this game too that mimics a scene. I think it's in Silent Hill 1. And maybe also in Silent Hill 3, there might be two similar. And when it happens, it's great. It's a fantastic
I think
game.
I know a little bit about what you're talking about. I don't want to spoil though.
Yeah.
Like I remember playing Silent Hill 1 and the controls for that game was so clinky. Like it was granted it came out in what 1999, so it was by its design too. Like I get it.
Mhm.
Aside from the combat, is the controls better?
They're way better. Almost too good. I think I said this last time. They're almost too good. Like it feels like a very modern game, and that's just not how I'm used to Silent Hill feeling. Like it's, you're like running around. It almost feels like you're playing Fortnite, kind of. Maybe not like that whimsical, but
Bit odd
like
for a horror game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
yeah, like you just you look in a direction and you go there. You don't have
Okay.
to like deal with tank controllers or anything like that.
That's good.
But yeah, it's a fantastic game. It's a 9 out of 10, amazing game. I recommend it.
So
And-
I think I have you beat on a game. Well, I think you played a little bit of it. For worst controls ever, and it's a game
Oh, is
that's
that Ex Anima?
yeah. We've been playing it. Well, I've been playing it off stream. Max, do you know Ex Anima?
That sounds familiar.
So this is a game that's on Steam and it's in early access, and it's been in early access for like a decade now. I remember hearing about it a long time ago. I just completely forgot about it until like this year. So I picked it up. It's pretty cheap, and it's a dungeon crawler. It's not necessarily horror, but you're in a dungeon and you have to work your way through trying to, I guess, find the exit. Because I don't really know the story yet. But the way it works is the combat system. You have like a sword, or like you pick up items to use as you go progress. Like it could be a candlestick or whatever, a table leg, and it is dependent on your movement as far as how fast you are walking forward, and you are a bumbling buffoon. And think of human fall flats for like how you bumble around, but in a dungeon crawler where you're trying to kill enemies. It's very hard.
Interesting.
And you have to like be very precise with your mouse trying to swipe hit in different areas of the person. Like the enemy might attack, and you're backing up, and you don't want to back up too fast because you'll stumble and you'll basically fall over. So you have to like do like little tiny back steps, or side steps to go around a circle, like circle them. Oftentimes I find myself going into a long hallway just for the space, because you don't want to be fighting tight quarters. That is actually a strategy though, where you can just kind of like hug the enemy, and they can't get enough power to, like, when they wind up their swing, that actually hit
Yeah.
you hard enough. So that's a different combat system I've been playing, and that is definitely like eating glass. So, but I do like the game so far. It has its own charm to it. I know it's not necessarily Silent Hill, but I don't think a lot of people knew that kind of fighting style could exist because it's all physics based, and it makes it very, very challenging.
That sounds fun. Like challenging but fun.
Yeah. So I guess I'll throw it back over to you, Max, for I guess the ending here.
Yeah, well, I mean, thank you guys for your reviews and analysis of Microsoft. It's, I mean, uh, like you said, it's kind of a depressing time
Yep.
to be a gamer, and even with Silent Hill, like it sounds like it's phenomenal, and I know that franchise is just whether you've played the game or not, you know of it, right?
Yeah.
But to hear that despite its success, it still has some issues, I think is yet again a product of the of Microsoft in a way, and how video games and big corporations are handling video games, and even just the the developers who make them. It's such a hard business to be in now, unfortunately.
So that's a great point. Silent Hill, Konami is like top of the list of like developers that aren't very good for their games.
Yeah.
Good point.
And very well respected despite some of their games.
I do think though that the hope does lie with a lot of indie games. Like Exanima, like I said, it's kind of an indie game. It's being made by like 2 or 3 people. And like whether or not you like the game or dislike, at least in my view, the game is being made. It's like more like a passion project.
Yeah.
Games like that resonate far more to me because it's a small team. They're not really driven by greed, like a CEO is. And then on top of that, they usually have some awesome stories. I remember like BioShock is one of my favorite games, and it was an indie game nobody ever really heard of, and then it just blew up because it's so good. And they do things that are kind of against the grain, like indie games can do, because they're not like PR, or like they're not trying to be like most profitable. A game where it touches like on religion, you don't really do that a whole lot. I mean, like BioShock did it and Halo did it to a certain extent, not like straight up in confrontation with religion. And games like can press that boundary when it's just they don't have any overlords like, dictating their daily schedules or, monthly quarters. So
exactly, and that's part of what killed Bungie in the long run is big corporations, greed, and time crunches.
Yep. You can even see
that could be a separate segment in its own one of these days.
Yeah,
Bungie would be a great one to just
dive into.
Go over,
because I know
you would think.
But
I was going to say, you would think that the solution that they should just do is like make a game with a campaign of like a single player or like small co-op campaign, and then just tack some multiplayer maps onto it, and it's going to sell so many copies. You would think, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would buy it. I'm not going to buy Marathon, but I would buy an 8-hour campaign game from Bungie.
I think.
Well, another thing to consider is the main folks who developed Halo's CE to 3 are no longer with Bungie, so Marathon isn't even a product of the original minds of Bungie.
Well,
the original minds of Marathon. Yeah,
exactly.
I do know that Marty O'Donnell, if you don't know who that is, he's the person that wrote the music
composer.
to Halo. Yeah. He has went out
and a founder, by the way.
Yeah, that's it. He has publicly said that over the time that he was at 343 or sorry, Bungie, that Microsoft kind of ingrained itself with Halo so much so that when Bungie like left, it was basically Microsoft people working on it. And that's why there was kind of a downside to Destiny when it didn't do so well, because it was more greed based than more of a passion project. And me and my brother had this kind of thing where if you're building a game, it doesn't matter what game you're building, focus on, is it fun first? Because if it's not fun, nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's going to play it. And I feel like you have to nail that 100% before you can add on. Like, it could be just bare bones sticks and stones. Like, it can be like human fall flat. It's not them. It doesn't need to be running at 4K at 60 frames. Nobody's asking for those kind of like graphics out of an indie game, but yet it's fun because it nails what it does perfectly.
Yep.
And I feel like more games need to resonate back to the what makes them like what made them into gaming. Like, what's your passion, and why do you want to create a game around that? Like, I feel like people lost that for the gaming development a long time ago. It's a little sad.
Absolutely.
And
I think
For sure.
circling back to Microsoft and corporate greed and all that, I think that plays a major factor, if not the determining factor for the downfall of games. Because I think the majority of us have experienced that, and games just are not as fun as they used to be anymore.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
depressing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody who just wants to make the Fortnite money.
Yep.
You know, they're
Exactly.
like, let's make this game and make it kind of like Fortnite, and we'll give it a battle pass, and we're going to make all the money in the world off of it. And if we don't, we'll just fire the studio and start again somewhere else.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Like, when you could still make a lot of money by just making a game.
CD Projekt Red is doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the few.
For me, what is baffling is when something is profitable. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, Game Pass is profitable. Like before they up the price. If it's profitable, just because it's not more profitable and CEOs want more money, again, greed, then they are ruining the actual product because it doesn't hit their metrics. To me, that's baffling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
that's what it is. It's the investors. It's the people like that you're trying to please. The best analogy I've ever heard with the problem of, not the problem of video games, but the complicated nature of it. It's art, which is antithetical to like making money, kind of, but it's meeting capitalism. Like, you have to make art out of capitalism, basically, in order for it to be successful. And that's why companies have problems with it, and they're just not thinking of it the right way.
Yep, it's a great point.
Yeah, I don't know why they try to mess up the profits. Like, if it's profitable, leave it alone. Like, why break something that already works? Like, to me, the model works.
No,
like, it's baffling.
It's a great point. And yeah, maybe in our next podcast we'll talk about video games and the downfall, if you will, and all the adjacent factors that play into it.
Yeah, of course. The shitification of it.
Inshitification, exactly. And for those of you who don't know, that is a real word. Matt has graciously informed me, and I did fact check it, and that is in fact a word.
Yes. We could get into the 2K thing with the ads, but that's kind of years old. But yeah, it's a gaming related topic about inshittifying. But
exactly.
Yeah,
that'll be the next
week.
Well, thank you, gents, for your time, and just to top off the morning with our final sips of coffee.
Yep.
Here's a random fact that not many of you may know, but probably experience at one point or another. Most people you know will remember only a handful of special moments, or specific moments rather, they shared with you, and one day you'll likely become just a vague memory in their mind, and they won't remember you at all.
Thank you for that.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
You all have a wonderful day.
1, 2, ready, go. What's the news? Hey, is there something new? What's the news? Say what you want to say.